Are you feeling like you're in a rut to where you're not making any progress? You know there's more in you, but there's nothing that you're doing right now that's bridging the gap between what you want out of life and what you're doing right now. And with that, maybe it's time to realign and readjust. Let's ask yourselves, are you ready to stop wishing and ready to start doing? Because if you are, you've come to the right video, because today we're going to reflect, refresh, and realign to be able to be on track with our higher version of ourselves. The new year is coming up, but we don't want to wait for the new year to get things started right now. So when I'm getting into these moods where I'm like, dang, I've said I was going to do X, Y, and Z, but I'm not doing anything, it's time to sit back and let's do a life audit. And we can make this very simple just to see the areas that are most important to us. And so for me, I'm doing health, career, environment, mindset, and routine/discipline. And for this life audit, what you're going to do is put these 5 categories. It doesn't have to be these 5 exactly. Put the categories that are most important to you. It could be 4 categories. And set a score range from 1 through 5. And with this score, you're going to score how well you think you're doing in each section of your life. So after you finish scoring all of these sections, I want you to take special attention of the categories that you score at a 3 or lower. And I know some of us might be a 3 and lower in every category. I know I've been there. And we're not going to rush to do everything at once, but I want you to be honest and not hard. This is supposed to be reflection, not punishment. It shouldn't be a problem for you to take some time to reflect. Sometimes we avoid the truth because it feels uncomfortable, but the most powerful part of this is being aware. When you're aware, you can do something about it. When you're not, you're kind of just letting it happen. For example, for finances for me, and maybe you may relate, I knew my spending was bad to the point that I did not want to face the bank statements. I did not want to see my credit card statements. But I knew I had to really sit back and realize, okay, what am I subscribed to? What everything that's going on? And instead of like trying to do everything all at once, the first thing I had to do when I realized that, what I did was just make a list of everything, all my debts. I made a list of all the subscriptions I have. I made a list of how much I'm spending a week on food or gas, whatever it is, and starting to look at, okay, what is actually necessary and what is not. But that's just an example to let you know, like when you see these things, it's not, doing the life audit is not to do everything all at once. It's just to make sure you're acknowledging it. And then we'll go into making a plan of it, which we'll talk about later in the video. But start off with the life audit just to see, because the truth of it, you cannot fix what you are not willing to see. But once you're willing to recognize, man, I have sat on the couch every single day after work for 1 month, or maybe in someone else's case, you have not tried to use any of your creative energy, and it has been stuck in your head to the point where you start doing things that do not serve you. So I want you to do a life audit, and this is the first step to alignment. So please do this with honesty and do not punish yourself. Just remember, this is so that you can move forward and know what areas to attack when it's time. Okay, so now let's refresh and detox, because now that you've done a quick life audit, let's talk about detoxing and refreshing. Because now that you're aware, it's going to be easy to rule some of these things out. Do a physical refresh, and this can look like just cleaning your space. And don't think you have to clean your whole entire house from top to bottom, because sometimes that may not be realistic for all of us. Like for me, when I realized like, oh, I need to get back on my Zoom, I start off with just cleaning my room, because that's where I'm laying my head, and that's the first thing I see when I open my eyes. So if I'm trying to get back in the groove, the first thing I'm focusing on is just cleaning my room. And then maybe the next day I'm gonna clean the kitchen. Then maybe the next day I'll focus on mopping throughout the whole entire house and cleaning the living room. It takes steps, but I would suggest you clean your physical space as you see fit. And then also, I know a lot of us, I know me, I never grew up with cleaners in the house and stuff like that, but you'll be surprised at how much these cleaners cost. And honestly, they may do a better job than you. So don't be afraid to look into that. All right, another thing is do a digital refresh. Unfollow the accounts that you feel like you're always comparing yourself to, or that make you feel behind, or make you have a negative feeling regardless, or pages that have gossip. Just cleanse your timelines, cleanse your social medias, because the stuff that you take in, it does subconsciously follow you, and you don't even realize. A mental refresh is one of my most favorite things to do, and it's probably the most easiest one on the list. And you're doing it now by watching a video that's talking about restarting, realigning, and being that you're already here, you already know how motivating it is just to hear somebody talk about what you're struggling with, or talk about what you're trying to move forward in. Because here we're trying to become better versions of ourselves. We're trying to upgrade our lifestyles. We're trying to do all these different things, but if we're not hearing these things on a regular basis, it does get away from us. And trust me, I've been there. There's been times where I'm like, let me put something motivational on. Let me put on some of that Mel Robbins and listen to what she's doing, because if you're not in that headspace, it's sometimes hard to get back in. And then another thing I would like to say is do an emotional refresh. Like sometimes there's something we got replaying in our head all the time, and sometimes just take a walk, take a breather. If you have a therapist, schedule that meeting with the therapist where you could just let it all out, journal, do what you have to do, because sometimes emotionally things can get very, very draining. Things can really take over our mental. And if it means just taking a step back away from noise, that will definitely help. All of this is to say, just fix your surroundings. There's certain parameters we can control within our environment, and I highly suggest you fix those things. So like for me, I kept seeing celebrity drama, and honestly, I don't like to see no two women go back and forth on the internet, because to me it's very low vibrational, and then consistently getting updates on everything these people are saying is like, I don't want to see this. This is not necessary. This is not contributing to where I want to go in life. So what I do, I block their names from popping up on my timeline just for a little while, because it just gets to be too much. So every time I'm feeling unmotivated and I'm feeling like, bro, it's been a whole month and you have not done anything, I like to reference a good book, a good video, or even my old notes or to my journal, and just write what it is I want and search up things that I want. So if I know I want to realign and refresh, I'm going to look for a video that talks about that. But yes, refreshing is easy to do, especially with things that you can control. And if you can control those things, the easy thing off the to-do list. So now I'm throwing all these things at you. We done talked about the life audit. We're talking about all the things to refresh. I want you to understand, you do not have to try to overhaul your whole life today or this week or this month. Just realign to the next step. What are the crucial actionable steps to realign to your higher self? And these are the steps I really want you to take in. So 1, I want you to remind yourself of, why do you want the change? When you're clear on that question and answer, your motivation becomes direction. You know what you're heading towards. You know what it is that you want. Now it's about taking the time to really say, okay, these are the things I want to change. These are the things I can eliminate automatically, so that I can move forward. So that goes back into the life audit. You know the sections that you need to fix in order to get to your why, to get to your goal. And you know the noise to eliminate, the social media, the things that you're intaking. Number 2, so the next thing I want you to do is make a list. Because sometimes we're not ready for a big vision board. And honestly, sometimes a vision board is a little time consuming. But start simple. You can open up the note tab on your phone. You could literally do that right now if you want. You don't need to do the life audit and everything before that. You could do this at any time, whenever you're feeling down, whatever it is. Write down everything you want. Because when you write it down, it starts to feel real. It starts to feel attainable and accessible. And write it down. Just write it down. It doesn't have to be a vision board yet. Because I made me a list, and then because of the list, I was able to easily create a vision board because I have everything listed. Instead of having my Canva open and I'm looking for pictures as I go, no, the list will have you right. Okay, and this is kind of where the life audit comes back in. I want you to create a micro plan. This does not have to be a well drawn out 1-year plan. I need you to just do something small from your life audit and set one realistic goal for the next week. For example, if in the health section you rated it a 2, and that may be because you're not moving your body enough, maybe you're finding that your energy levels are a little lower than usual, a good first step is to say, hey, let me take a walk for 20 minutes after work every day. These are baby steps. Or even if it's just like, okay, let me get up 3 times this week early just to take a walk before work. Something along those lines. It doesn't have to be a grand, big change. Something as simple as you feel yourself being tired. Now you're thinking about, know what, maybe I need more hours of sleep a night. And that can look like just simply, every night try to go to sleep 30 minutes earlier than you did the night before, especially if you're starting off going to sleep very late. Like I mentioned, my finances was one of the parts that I listed very low, and I gave myself a 1 on. But something simple I did was just make a list of everything. I sat down for maybe about 2 hours towards this task just to look at what is it that I need to eliminate? What is it that I need to move forward on? So just pick one area, and even that, you can start creating a more thorough plan. Like for me, I realized there's so many different things I'm trying to tackle on, and I'm doing a 100-day reinvention, which I'll list here. But for the first phase of it, which is the first 5 weeks, I'm literally just focusing on building my discipline back, posting consistently on YouTube. But if I told myself I had to finish every single goal I have on the list, that would be unrealistic, and that wouldn't be fair to me, and because of that, I wouldn't get anything done. But if you're curious on how to map out a full-fledged plan on a span of 3 months or maybe even a month, just to get matters going, you can request it in the comments. But you want to start off with a micro plan, but you do want to eventually go into something that will be able to sustain the things that you actually want to change about yourself. And the last thing I want to say when it comes down to realignment, I want you to consume with intention. Because a lot of the time we see people doing what we want to do. We're seeing people do the same thing that we said we aspire to do. But the thing that's separating us from them is that they're taking the time to do more producing than consuming. And because of that, I want you to replace your consumption, that whether that's buying a bunch of materials, whether that's scrolling continuously on TikTok. Find a way to produce, find a way to do things that align to what you want out of life. Because the thing is, those nights after work where you could have made a YouTube video, or those days before work where you could have made you a quick breakfast instead of staying up late to be on TikTok, these things could have easily been fixed. And it's not the easy thing to do, but that's where discipline comes in. And it comes down to the question, how bad do you want it? Do you even want it bad enough? And that's the thing we have to address when we're talking about making change. Do you want it bad enough? And like I said, I'm talking about my 100-day reinvention again, but I had to restart it because I was like, I don't think the things I'm doing now showing that I want to see these results enough. And that's why I took a step back to restart. And that's why I'm making this video, because it's okay to restart. I had to let myself know, like, girl, it's okay to start over because you know exactly what you want. So to consume with intention, something you can do is replace scrolling with positive content, whether it's a certain podcast or you're learning to do something. Let yourself do something that's different. And then also you could create a playlist, whether it's on YouTube or Spotify. Even on YouTube, I have a mindset shift playlist that I will always reference back when I feel like I need to just hear something positive, when I feel like I need to just get back on board. But overall, to actually realign, because to realign, it doesn't mean doing everything perfectly. It's about choosing one small thing that moves you forward, because progress builds confidence. And the more you're able to do, the more times you get to fail, the more times you get to reset and readjust. Those are the things that will definitely push you forward. Because even for my YouTube channel, you can go through and see like, okay, she did this one time, she moved back to this, she's trying this again. I'm readjusting as I go, but I wouldn't be able to do that if I never started in the first place. And that's the thing. I don't think we take into account the muddy middle that we have to get through before actually seeing success, before actually seeing the flowers of our hard work. So it takes some time to really get there. And I think that's another thing. Sometimes we want the instant gratification, and it's not going to happen. It's going to take its time. But the thing you should value most is your consistency. The thing you should value most is your progress. Everything is not going to happen in 2 weeks, 1 month, even 2 months. Sometimes you might not see the rewards of your labor, but you do need to take time to reflect, reset, and realign so that you can move forward. So you don't need to wait until Monday to restart. You don't need to wait for a new month to start all over again. You could start over right now. You could start over right after work on Thursday. You don't need a specific time, because if you really want it bad enough, you're going to want to start as soon as possible. As long as you decide that this time it's for real, you're not playing no games. And that's how I feel right now. I'm not playing no games with y'all. Y'all going to see my content. You're going to see everything I do. So stay tuned. So if you've made it to the end of the video, I want you to leave a heart emoji, and also comment. I want you to comment one area that you're focusing on this week. Is it your health, your mindset? Is it your discipline and routines? And if this video helped you realize, subscribe so that we could grow through this together.